Walk This Way by Aerosmith. So let's look at the notes in the opening riff to begin with. We have the open A string, so that's string 5. Then we have the first fret with the first finger of that same A string, string 5. Middle finger then, again on the same string. And then it's the third finger at the second fret of string 4. So of those 4 notes, we have open, 1, 2, 3. Now you can fret this with different fingers, but by far the easiest way to play this riff, by a long way, is to pick the open string, and then to hammer your first finger on, and then to hammer your middle finger on. So we get those faster 3 notes, open, first finger, second, just with a hammer on without having to pick them. It's just far easier. If you're not used to doing hammer-ons, then this will feel a little bit strange to you, but again, that's a great technique to practice. And then we will need to pick the 4th note, and we'll play that with our 3rd finger so that we can use a different finger for each string. So we go so that we can use a different finger for each note. So we did pick, hammer, hammer, 3rd finger, and it's another pick, okay? And we have that same thing happen twice. And we need a mute in between each of them. It's a little hard for me to mute when I do this, but if I play it properly, it's a lot easier to mute than these demos. And then to finish the riff, it's just the thickest E string. Okay, so one more time. Pick, hammer, hammer, 3rd finger, all again, pick, hammer, hammer, 3rd finger, and then the thickest E string to finish off. Now, other tutorials will show you to pick every note, and that's totally fine. If you can do that, that's great. That would sound like this. And if you're doing that, you probably want to use alternate picking, where you just alternate between a down and an up, down, up. Great for your picking hand if you can do that. I'm just showing you that the easiest way, it's with the hammer-ons. So far we have then it's almost the same again, we just have a little added bit. We do the same routine that we've already learnt. We just add in middle finger, 3rd fret to the open string, and that's a flick off. So picking 3rd fret of the thickest string, sorry, not the open string, the thickest string, flicking off to the open string, and finishing with the 2nd fret on string 4. So in total we have that's the whole thing, nice and slow. We'll do this a couple more times. 2, 3, 4. first finger, which is the one finger A chord. And if you're not used to the single note technique, so picking single strings and hammer-ons and playing the E and A chord with one finger, just one finger, the sort of classic rock style, please check out my electric guitar starter course, which is just here, and I'll be expanding on that course in the coming months. But that is the best place to get started with picking single strings and playing these kind of electric guitar rock riffs. And now we're going to move on to the verses. That's the riff for the verses. So now there's a backseat lover that's always undercover, then talk to my daddy say. That kind of idea. So that's the riff for the verses. How do we play it? Well, if you're not familiar with this riff, the sort of more standard, familiar rock blues style Chuck Berry Status Quo riff, definitely learn this one first. That's something that you just need to be comfortable with to be able to do this kind of stretch, and the best lesson of mine to learn this in is Caroline by Status Quo. I'll put a link to that lesson somewhere, but Andy Guitar, Caroline, Status Quo, you will definitely find that. And you need that one first, but here we're doing it at 8th fret, and we're playing a variation on it. So you could play just a standard power chord and palm mute it in 8th, so 1, 2, 3, and there's a backseat lover that's always undercover in a talk to my daddy say. That would be the easiest thing to do in these verse sections, but the next thing to do is to add the 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I always kind of played, this is the standard way to play it, standard power chord, first finger at 8th fret on the thickest string, third finger at 10th fret, and then the little finger going to 12th fret. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then he does a little shuffle groove to vary this. Now, because I have small hands, to be honest with you, I always found it better to play the middle note with my middle finger, so I had more of a stretch with my little finger. I just always found that more comfortable. And what notes are we playing? We're playing the thickest string twice, and then to string 5. 8, 10, 10, 12, 10. And that's one half of it already. The whole thing would be a little bit palm muted. Okay, but... And then for the second half of it... 8... up to the octave, so that's the octave of our C note, so the note underneath it, 13, 12, 10, that second half on its own, so we do have the tab for this, a link to which is on my website. The link is just here. As I say, this is easily the most trickiest part of the song, apart from just the solos, really. So in total, this would be... That's the whole thing, really slowly. And a little finger jumping around everywhere. If you're not familiar with that one, just as a recap, the Status Quo kind of riff. With a bit of a stretch. That works fine through, and there's a backseat lover that's always undercover in a talk to my daddy say. You know, you can kind of do that. You could add a bit of a shuffle into it. And then we go back to the normal riff, as we've covered already, and the only other rhythm sections really are in the chorus, which goes like this. You can see that variation on the status quo riff there. And then we add in some 7th chords. Talk this way, walk this way, talk this way. Okay, so let's get a good look in at what we're doing here. We have one guitar part, which goes and then plays that same riff a string down. So it's the power chord that we've done before, and little finger going to 12, then 13, which, as you can see, that it just puts my fingers in kind of a weird position, and I always found it more comfortable to do this stretch personally, so playing the middle note with my middle finger. Could be a bad habit, so playing it with the 3rd finger is the more standard way to do it. And then you do the same thing a string down. And that is one guitar part. The second guitar part plays a C7, which is like a C major bar chord, but with the little finger on the 11th fret of the 3rd string, and we're not playing that middle note there, we're barring all the way down. Walk this way, talk this way. This one is another bar chord, and this is an F7 chord, so a dominant 7th chord. And to do an amalgamation of the two, I play the first half of this, and then hit that 7th chord. Talk this way, walk this way. Just have the little finger on there. That's 2nd string, 11th fret. And that's how I would play this, how I used to play it in my cover band anyway. Walk this way, talk this way, walk this way, talk this way. And they're all the rhythm sections in Walk This Way. Most of the solos are all based around the E minor pentatonic up at the 12th fret. That's where the double dot is. So you can try either working them out by ear or improvising. Using that one, that's basically all his licks are in that position 1. So just have some fun using your licks while you're in that section of the song, and try and transcribe some of his by ear. It's the best way to learn. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my electric guitar starter course here, which covers all the techniques and play along backing tracks you need to be able to nail songs like this. And you'll find more classic riffs in this section here. Again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support.